Chan! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Oh, Willie! What local are you from, sister?
Hey guys, we're out here to support
It's a group of auto workers and retirees from CAW members decided that they wanted to let the public, I guess partly the public that they know are interested in autos, in the auto industry, to know about just how horrible the auto workers are being treated right now, and how the current crisis in the industry really has nothing to do with the important gains that auto workers have made over the last 5 decades.
So are you with the CAW, or?
I used to be. I'm a retired CAW staff member. I was on the staff of the CAW for 15 years, but before that, for 15 years, I worked in a General Motors assembly plant. So I'm both as a pensioner and as somebody who cares about how the auto workers are being treated right now. So yes, I'm still affiliated with the CAW in that sense.
I understand that the GM has $61 billion in assets. How do you feel about them trying to ask for what is it, 6 million, 4 million here, billion here?
Well, actually, my understanding is that they need loan guarantees because in the short run that they're bleeding cash, and I think that's true. It's a reality, and it has to do with the fact that there is a major financial crisis happening right now, and there's no credit available to people, so people aren't buying cars. And though GM, Ford, the so-called Detroit 3, and actually all of the auto companies are not selling anything, but they were in severe crisis before then, and that crisis had to do with a number of factors. It had to do with partly with the fact that they were producing the wrong kind of vehicles, and also there's the fact that they have a number of retirees. There's 5 retirees to every active worker for GM in the U.S. And the transplants have a much younger, the Japanese transplants have a much younger workforce. And they have very few pensioners, and also healthcare isn't socialized there. So that took a toll on that's a reality. That's the nature of capitalist competition. The other thing is that competition under free trade and globalization is not regulated. So there's massive competition, and it's affected the weaker companies, and that's what happened. So to say that they have 61 billion assets is really not covers up the reality. I mean, I don't like them, but to say that they're not bleeding cash is not true.
Do you feel that the governments with their restrictions on the loans and that is sort of like union busting?
Well, actually, they're doing 2 things. One is a union busting in the sense that in the U.S. They're demanding not just in the U.S. They're demanding that the wage costs, the big 3, match the lowest cost non-union producers in the U.S. That's union, and they're doing it to bust the union. In the U.S. in particular, because the union's on its last legs there. They want to basically, the union took 2-tier wage increase last time, and that means an increasing number of their workforce will be working for 50% wage cuts. They want to complete what Ronald Reagan started by busting PATCO in the 1980s, by breaking the last vestiges of the strength of the union movement there. And here, by the Canadian government demanding that the union here match that is despicable. It's union busting. These are the old Harris crew. And by the CAW agreeing to those terms, I think is horrific. They may have to give up some things, but to agree to those terms is horrible. The second thing about that bailout package, though, is that they're not really demanding that the companies change in ways in which we think they should change. They're not forcing them to produce environmentally friendly vehicles. They're not forcing them to. They're not forcing the whole industry to be regulated. They need to regulate the amount that are produced. They need to regulate content in terms of who's coming in, where it's coming in from. They need to fundamentally change the structure of the industry, and they're not going to do that.
I'm Trish McAuliffe. I'm here as a CAW member of Local 222, previously a member of Local 1973 representing Windsor workers as well, in this race to the bottom. As we know today, we're seeing heavy demands put on the industry, but the workers are taking the grunt. We have high productivity rates in our plants. We're paid for that productivity rate. Today they're attacking our rate of pay. And we need to question then, where are we in our productivity as Canadians? As Canadians as a whole, we contribute to the tax base, and if they no longer want that increased tax base, then they're going to erode us as workers. And downsizing this industry downsizes our communities, downsizes any efforts that we have as a union, building towards solidarity, building towards workers' rights, representing the people of Canada for prosperity. It all goes hand in hand. In this race to the bottom, I think that they're taking this economic crisis to the max and taking out the feet of the middle class independent workers today. Everyone will be affected by this. This is not just a workers' issue. This is across the board affecting all Canadian workers and the way in which we work. This is affecting families, communities, and poverty, and shame on them. Shame on for taking this opportunity.
How do you feel that that GM has $61 billion in assets and only wants, when our government is willing to give us what, $4 or $6 billion to help GM out, but want the concessionary part of it to basically bust our union, to have these conditions that we have a no strike clause and take away all our rights.
Well, this is obviously a backdoor way in which to bust unions or to erode the strength of unions, and that's really what it is. We've been mobilized, we've participated in actions in which we can increase the power of workers, and that's directly what this is affecting. It's starting to have workers question which side are they on, and I think that's the real downside of this pressure that the government is putting on the industry and union leaders to make changes, concessionary changes. Workers are feeling a lot of the apathy of what's going on in their environment. Yeah, in fact, there's stocks here, I think, that are questionable. What's happening in the market is questionable. Workers have the rights to question that, but we also should have the strength to push back, and that's what this is affecting.
So do you think that the rank and file will start to rise up and start taking on demanding from your union not to give in to the concessions?
Well, I believe that there's a limited role that workers feel that they can play, and I think as leadership, showing the way is really important to see how far you can go without disrupting the rank and file sense of where they are in this fight back. There are clearly divisions in how people are feeling right now. Some are feeling very, very tentative going into these talks. Others are feeling the strength that we need to still continue to build a movement around pushing back and keeping our gains. We fought hard for these gains. The retirees stand behind us, and large numbers. These fights have been fought before. We are at a crossroads, though, unfortunately, and it's about which direction will we take.
How do you think the retirees feel that they fought for all these gains and everything and went on strike, and all of a sudden it's all being taken away by the government?
Well, of course I'm feeling for them, because this is for them. This direction that we're taking and pushing back is for them. I'm a third-generation auto worker. My parents and my grandparents have been out there over numbers of years to get a piece of the pie from the wealth of these corporations. And today, under a different disguise, they're attacking us and taking away, and this is why I'm here today, to represent all of those struggles in the past. And even today, as my mother sits home, broken up from the years and years of working on the line, and she can't be here representing herself. I'm here representing her to say that the work that these people have put into these facilities have made them wealthy. And today we need to continue to fight for that piece of the pie. And today retirees are feeling the fear of their pensions being cut back, and that is wrong.